Hello friends, I'm Narendra Verma once again with you. As you know very well that we are dealing with the chapter 3 in business study for class 12, that is business environment. And today is the last session of this chapter, and in today's session we are going to cover the topic managerial response to changes in business environment, right? So let me tell you something about it. Okay, see, when we talk about these changes, then these changes do not mean only the economic policy reforms, right? These changes means whatever is happening in the business environment. Okay, so what is the response of management of the business enterprises towards that? So what are the possibilities, what kind of decisions are taken, okay, and what we get to see in reality. Okay, so that we are going to discuss today, right? So without wasting much time, let's start that. So as we know that changes in business environment keep on taking place. Why? Because business environment has a feature that it is dynamic in nature. Dynamic means all the time changes are happening. Okay, and what kind of changes are there, that we have already studied, that there are certain kind of forces working in the environment like social factors, economic factors, political factors, legal factor, and technological factors. Okay, so as the result of all these factors, the changes come in the environment, and in the response of those changes, the management in the organization have to take certain decisions, right? Okay, and these are very much game-changing decisions. So today we are going to discuss the points which may highlight the managerial response in general, okay, towards the changes happening in the business environment. Okay, so there are few points given in your syllabus. We are going to have discussion on that. Okay, and to remember all these points together, I have prepared a code. So I'm just writing a code, then we'll talk about all the points one by one. So this is the code. Diversified customers and joint brands acquire modern technology for high compensation. You'll have to imagine that there are few customers who are diversified, and there are few brands which are there in joint manner. They all are acquiring modern technology for getting the higher compensation, right? It's something unique or unusual kind of situation, but you'll have to remember it. Only then we can remember all the points. I just write down all the points of managerial response to changes in business environment, then you'll come to know that this code is really going to work a lot. So these are the 7 points. Okay, now let's understand these points with the help of this code. Diversified is there for diversification, customers is there for customer orientation, joint is there for joint ventures with MNCs, means multinational companies, brands is there for brand building, acquire is there for acquisitions and mergers, and this modern technology is there for use of modern technology, and this high compensation is there for high level of compensation. So these all 7 points you can remember by remembering this single code, right? So now let's understand about all these 7 points one by one. So the very first point is diversification, right? As we know that in new industrial policy, liberalization took place, means all the restrictions were removed from the business organization. Now they can diversify their business. And what is the meaning of diversification? Means if one enterprise is dealing in one product, then it may start dealing in the another product which is completely unrelated to the field in which it is already working. For example, if there is a company which is producing FMCG products, means fast moving consumer goods, like all the cosmetics, fine, and all the daily provisions, okay, all these things, pulses, salt, Maggi, etc. Fine, these all come under one category that is known as FMCG product. Okay, so say for example, one company is dealing in FMCG product, and all of a sudden it starts dealing in the insurance sector. So that is known as diversification. Or we can take vice versa, that a company is dealing in insurance sector and now it has jumped into FMCG field. Okay, so this is known as diversification. So this is the one example, but the company can jump into various fields which are completely unrelated for it, means it has no previous experience, but right now it has jumped into it and now they're doing their business. Okay, so new industrial policy gave this option to various enterprises. Now they can diversify their business. Okay, and not only the new industrial policy, the continuous changes happening in the environment, these are also creating the situations in front of so many business enterprises that they can diversify their business. Like we discussed at the time of importance of business environment, that business environment gives you the opportunity, right? So opportunity means, say for example, a company is already there in telecommunication business. Now it sees or observes some opportunity in fuel business. So then it starts taking the opportunity. It jumps into that, and thereafter one more company is formed under their umbrella. Okay, the company becomes a group of company, and it starts opening various series of companies for various fields, right? Okay, so this is known as diversification. So many Indian companies have adopted this. Okay, so many Indian companies have diversified from their parent field to another completely new field in which they did not have previous experiences. Okay, for example, we are talking about the old company so that you can relate it. Okay, now let's talk about the company Bajaj Group of Company. So this Bajaj Group of Company, how it became a group of company? At present, let me tell you that under Bajaj Group of Company, there are 37 companies, right? And these 37 companies are dealing in the different fields. Okay, initially Bajaj started with one company, that was the Bajaj Auto, which was dealing in the manufacturing of two-wheeler and three-wheeler vehicles, right? Okay, later on they kept on diversifying themselves. Okay, they came into insurance business, Bajaj Alliance, you can see. They came into finance, Bajaj Finance business, you can see. Okay, and now they are there in the FMCG products as well. So many cosmetics items are available in the market by the name of Bajaj, right? Okay, so this is known as diversification. Fine, and this happened just because of the changes happening in the business environment. Okay, because maybe possible that Bajaj observed the opportunity in those fields and then it started their company. Okay. So one example of Bajaj Group. Now let's talk about the another big group. Another example we can take of Godrej Group of Company. Initially there was a single company of Godrej which was dealing only in manufacturing of locks, and now they have moved even to aerospace business. Okay, you will be surprised to know that Godrej has got the opportunity to work with ISRO. Okay, they have joined their rocket mission in that. Okay, so and they're producing furniture, they're producing FMCG products as well. Okay, so many other fields also Godrej has diversified into. Okay, these are the two examples. You can study various such examples if you want to know about this diversification. Okay, just do some analysis about the old Indian companies and then you will come to know that from where they started and now up to what level they are. Okay, so this was all about diversification. Now let's move on to another point. So the another point is customer orientation. Customer orientation means after the economic reforms, what happened? All the enterprises working in India have shifted from production oriented process to customer oriented process. Okay, now they are all customer oriented. For them, customer satisfaction is there at priority, right? Okay, they just try their level best to satisfy their customer. First of all, they do the analysis in the market and then only they produce the products, and after producing the products, even they make sales, and after even sales they provide the after sales services for the satisfaction of the consumer. Whether you buy a refrigerator in today's time or you buy AC, you get the after sales services only for the satisfaction of yours, right? So all the companies are working on that, and that is what the reason why that all the big companies are maintaining separate grievance cell for customer satisfaction in their organization. There is the particular department which is working for that. Okay, they maintain customer care services over there. They provide the toll-free numbers so that the customers can contact and give their feedback on that. Otherwise, so many enterprises give you the feedback form to fill up. Okay, you give your feedback and then they do the modification in their products and services. Okay, otherwise you find that at various websites on their web pages you are allowed to give the credit rating. You can give them star rating, or you can give them ratings in forms of smileys. Okay, so all this is happening. Fine. So this is a part of customer orientation. So after changes happening in the environment, the managerial response is towards adopting customer satisfaction. Customer is the king. Now all the organizations are running after customer, and that is really genuine. It has to happen. Okay, in that way customer is not going to be exploited ever. Okay. So this is all about the customer orientation. Now let's move on to another point. So the another point is joint ventures with MNCs. MNCs means multinational companies. Okay. So very first we need to understand the meaning of joint venture. However, you must have studied that in your previous standard, 11th standard. But one more time I am explaining you here. Okay. So the joint venture is an agreement between two or more companies with regard to ownership of assets and liabilities. Right. So in reality, what happens? Two companies join for a particular purpose. Okay, because like we say that 1 plus 1 become 3. Okay, so this is what the logic behind it. Okay, when two big companies join hands together for a particular purpose, okay, then they can fight the other companies in better and competitive way. They become stronger and more confident to face them. Okay, for the same we'll be discussing few examples of Indian companies having joint ventures with foreign companies so that you can understand how actually it is happening. Okay, but we need to understand that just because of the economic reforms, this is the option available to the Indian companies now, because earlier the globalization was not there, but after the new industrial policy, globalization is there. The multinational companies are allowed to work in India. Okay, so the Indian companies are having the option. They are having the option to adopt this combination of business, because business means you need to just earn money, okay, through different sources, but legally. Okay, so when it became legal in India, then definitely they can adopt this option. So many Indian companies are adopting this combination, and after adopting this combination, they are becoming stronger and more confident to fight the competition, and they are ruling in the market. Right? Okay, so let's discuss the example for the same. So we are taking the example here of Vistara Airlines. See, Vistara Airlines is working in India, right? Okay, and this is the joint venture of two companies. One is the Tata Sons, that is the Indian company. Okay, and another is the SIA, that is the Singapore Airlines. Right, so Vistara is the joint venture of Tata Sons and Singapore Airlines. Okay, now let's understand it in pretty well manner. Okay, now these two companies are having two businesses separately. Means Tata Sons is doing separate business by the name of Tata Sons. Okay, similarly Singapore Airlines is doing the separate business by the name of Singapore Airlines. And now these are together for some particular reason or for particular market by the name of Vistara Airlines. Understood? Okay, so now they are getting the third advantage. This is what I was talking about. 1 plus 1 is equal to 3. Okay, so they are taking the benefit under the name of Vistara Airlines. And this is not the permanent venture. Anytime they can break it as per the agreement. Like I told you in the definition, this is the agreement. The agreement can be there of 10 years, it can be there of 20 years, or they can renew the agreement on their terms and condition. That is their agreement. Okay, because both companies are willing to earn profit as long as they can. Okay, as long as they maintain the good relationship and keep on earning money, then there is no problem. Okay. So the joint venture is there. Understood the meaning of joint venture? Now let's discuss the another example for the same. Mahindra Renault Limited. Okay, Mahindra Renault Limited is the joint venture working in India. Okay, and this joint venture is there of two companies. One is the Indian company, that is Mahindra and Mahindra, and another is the French company, that is Renault. Right? Okay, so now once again let's understand. Renault is producing its products by the name of Renault separately, okay, in other countries, because Renault is basically known for racing cars. Fine, so it is corporate giant in the field of racing car. Okay, now Mahindra and Mahindra is the big Indian corporate brand, okay, in the field of automobiles. Okay, so Mahindra and Mahindra is doing the separate business by the Mahindra and Mahindra. Okay, and these together are running a joint venture by the name of Mahindra Renault. Okay, so now they are producing car by the name of Mahindra Renault. So that is the joint venture. So this joint venture is benefiting both the companies, right? Okay, so this is about the joint venture. So this is the managerial response towards the changes happening in the business environment. Now let's move on to another point. Another point is brand building. Okay, brand building means as many changes are happening in the business environment, like we see that competition is increasing. Competition is increasing means many companies are there for the same product and services. Now, if a particular company wants to be popular among the all consumers, all the customers available there, then it has to constantly work upon its brand promotion. Okay, their product is being sold out or not, that is the secondary part, but their brand name must be there in the mind of all the people. So that is why they spend a lot of funds on the promotion of their brands. Okay, there are various Indian companies which are spending a lot on their promotional activities. So this is also one response of the management towards the changes happening in the business environment. Okay, there are various companies. I would like to give you the example of few companies, like you can take the example of Amul. Okay, so Amul is the cooperative group working in the India. Okay, earlier very first they started with single product, and now they are producing more than 100 products under a single umbrella, that is Amul. Amul is the brand name as well, right? Okay, so now they're promoting their brands. You must have seen the innovative ads of Amul, that whatever is happening in the environment, as per the current situations, current breaking news, okay, according to that they just modify their advertisement and bring it into the market. Okay, so the people get laughter, okay, and they get the information, as well as the Amul brand is promoted. Okay, you can see in the slides. Okay, now there are a few more companies which are popular in India to promote their brands, like Aditya Birla Group has promoted a lot its brand Idea Cellular Company. Okay, they have promoted a lot. We have all seen the advertisement of Abhishek Bachchan. Sometimes he was there with Walk When You Talk, and sometimes he was there that everybody will be known by its phone number. Okay, there will be no discrimination on the basis of caste and religion, etc. You can see in the slides that they have given the innovative advertisement just to promote their brand. Okay, now in present scenario we can see Patanjali for doing the same. It is producing its brand enormously. Or we can see the example of BBK company. BBK is an enterprise which is having various sub companies like Vivo and Oppo. So you must have seen a lot of promotion of Vivo and Oppo mobiles in present scenario. So that is what the brand building, so that the people know them. Now everybody knows that Vivo is the mobile company, Oppo is the mobile company. They both are producing the mobiles. Understood? Okay, so it is all about promoting the brands, means brand building. Okay, and that is what the managerial response toward the changes happening in the environment. Now let's move on to another point. Another point is acquisitions and mergers. Okay, so there is the increase in India in acquisitions and mergers. okay, as the changes are happening in the environment. But very first we need to understand the meaning of these two, right? So this is the meaning of these two. Acquisition means when one company takes over the other company. Takes over means now it has bought all the shares or at least 51% shares of that particular company. So it means this company A has taken over the company B. Understood? We'll discuss the examples of these. Merger means when two companies come together and form one. Now what is the basic difference between two? Here the compulsion for the another company. Okay, so because the size of one company is bigger than the size of the second company. Say for example, the A is the bigger company and the B is the smaller company. So what A will do? A will take over B. Okay, in the matter of acquiring the shares. Okay, so this is known as acquisitions. Now it is on the wish of A that it wants to continue both the businesses, means the business A was doing and the business B was doing with the same name. Okay, or it can change the name. Understood? Okay, like I have heard about Nokia. Okay, so Nokia was taken over by Microsoft. Okay, and after taking it over, what Microsoft did, it changed the name. Every product they introduced by the name of Microsoft, but that did not become popular because already the Nokia brand was very much popular in India, and then they came back to Nokia brand. Understood? So that is what the wish of this acquiring company, that it want it to go with the similar brand name or not. Okay, and it is the better idea to let it go with the similar brand because already the brand has been positioned in the mind of the people, okay, which is not possible to remove so soon. So that is why they just prefer this idea. Okay, but they have the holding of the shares, so that is why all the business belongs to those. Understood? Okay, we'll discuss some examples here. Now mergers means two companies willingly come together for various purposes and now they fight the other competitors being one. Okay, for the example we can talk about Vodafone and Idea. Okay, what happened when Jio came into the market? Then there was a crisis for all the telecommunication companies. Okay, so just to survive and just to fight Jio, a big competitor, these two companies joined hands. Okay, and now they are doing business together. They are fighting together. Okay, this is called Vodafone and Idea merger. Okay, and for this we can take the example of Flipkart. Okay, Flipkart acquired PhonePe. Okay, if you get into the detail, then you will come to know the story of PhonePe. Okay, that is not very much necessary to discuss here, but I just tell you in brief that PhonePe, the employee who were working in the Flipkart, they formed their company after leaving the organization by the name of PhonePe. Okay, and Flipkart did not want the another competitor, so what it did, it just bought its maximum shares and then it finally acquired it. Okay, so PhonePe belongs to Flipkart. Okay, similarly we can say that Myntra belongs to Flipkart. There are various examples. Okay, and for mergers also where various examples are there. So we saw that there is a difference between acquisition and mergers, but in general these two terms are used together synonymously. Understood? Okay, and you will come to know, however, these are different, entirely different. Okay, in accountancy also you will be learning it in your further classes. Okay, so that is why I am not discussing more over here. Okay, let's discuss some more examples here. Sun Pharma and Ranbaxy. Okay, so this is the another example of acquisition and merger. Okay, and Ola and Taxi for Sure. Ola acquired Taxi for Sure company. Okay, so this is the another example of acquisition and merger. Okay, there can be various examples if you study in detail. That I just give you one more example: Snapdeal and Freecharge. Snapdeal acquired Freecharge. Okay, so this is the another example of mergers and acquisitions, right? Okay, so in India, just because of the changes happening in the business environment, okay, mergers and acquisitions have increased a lot. Okay, so these are giving the benefit. Here the formula works: 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. And what is the fifth benefit? That is called synergy. In the language of mergers and acquisitions, synergy is a kind of additional benefit that the companies get after becoming one. Okay, so this happens So we can see that this is the managerial response towards the changes happening in the business environment, and the change can be related to any external force working in the environment. Understood? Now let's move on to another point. So the another point is use of modern technology. Okay, so as the economic reforms are taking place in India, means changes are happening in the business environment, the management of the business enterprise is responding in terms of using modern technology. Okay, now all the organizations are there in race. Okay, they need to adopt the latest technology, modern technology, otherwise they lag behind. Okay, so the use of modern technology has increased, right? Okay, now we can see that as many companies which are leading in India, they all are adopting the modern technologies. Okay, modern technologies like robotic process, okay, cyber security, the big picture, okay, and artificial intelligence. There are various modern technologies. Okay, and I would like to discuss the names of some companies, for example, which are using the modern technology in present era. Okay, because on the basis of technology their business is going on, otherwise they will not be there in the market, and they keep on updating themselves. For example, we can talk about Oyo rooms. Okay, so Oyo is the startup which is working only on internet, fine, just because of the technology. Okay, Paytm 197 communication we can talk about. Okay, so that is also working on the basis of the technology. Okay, and all the nationalized and other banks working in India, they are also adopting the modern technology to satisfy their customer, right? Okay, so or we can talk about Ola. Okay, that is also going on the basis of technology. So there are various companies which are working by using the modern technology. So overall, what is the response of the management towards the change in the business environment? They are using modern technology. Now let's move on to another point. So the last point in the series is high level of compensation. Very first, let's understand the meaning of this compensation. Compensation means salaries, DA, TA, and other facilities, right? So whatever the company is paying to an employee in return of rendering his services, that complete package is known as compensation, right? Okay, so this is again the managerial response to changes happening in the business environment. What is the managerial response? The high level of compensation. Okay, after the economic reforms have taken place in India, okay, the companies have started providing the good salary to their employees for providing the expert kind of services. Okay, because as the technology is moving ahead, they want the expert and competent people. Okay, and the expert and competent people demand high salary, and they all are having the capability to pay that. Okay, now the companies have even changed their style of payment. Okay, they have started adopting the performance linked plans, like employee stock option plan scheme. They just provide them shares even in their company. Okay, so that is what happening. So the Indian companies also have started giving the higher packages. Okay, so for example, let's discuss the names of few companies which come under top 10 high package giving companies in India. We can talk about Infosys. Okay, so Infosys is very much popular to pay high packages to their employees. Or we can talk about Intel. Intel is the another company which is giving the high salary to their employees. Okay, or there are various companies, CTS, Cisco, and many more, right? So this is again the managerial response towards the changes happening in the environment, right? So this is all for this topic. Let me tell you something in brief about this topic. This topic is very much necessary in present scenario. Okay, from exam point of view, that is not so important, but for learning point of view, for understanding or for getting into the depth of the business, then this topic is very much important, and that is related to your further studies as well. So that is why give special time to this topic, and let's try to understand it beyond the concept given in your book. Okay, for that you will have to search the websites of various companies. Then you will come to know a lot of details about what is happening in the environment and how the business organizations are tackling that, right? So this is all for today. As I told you that this is the last video on this chapter 3 business environment. Very soon I'll be meeting you with the another video with the another chapter in business studies. Till then, thank you. Bye bye.